This segment of the show is Cheers to That with our friends at Yeti.
I'm glad we're having this conversation for the world to see here eventually, because I'm genuinely just,
Yeah. Yeah, and if there's something you don't understand, don't call me.
Okay, I'll call the other Luke.
Yeah, that's exactly. Rodeo time. Welcome to the Luke Branquinho Show. My next guest is a PRCA Announcer of the Year and a guy that does not hold true to what he says when he wins things. He still has to get his carpenter jeans starched, pressed, and worn, but hopefully we'll get it at the Kid Rock and Roll Rodeo. Garrett Yerigan, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. And I made a lot of if I win, I'll do this statements, not thinking I'd actually win.
And here we are, winning.
So far, they've all come back to bite me.
Oh, that's going to be so fun for me when I see you wearing those on the stage at the Kid Rock and Roll Rodeo, which you are committed to do, right? I mean, you're not going to back out on me like some other people.
No, I mean, I guess this is the official announcement. I mean, I don't have like a signed contract or anything yet, but hey, I'll be there.
Hey, I appreciate it. Perfect. Yeah, we'll make sure we'll get that to you ASAP. Speaking of, okay, we're going to talk about the Kid Rock and Roll Rodeo, but you grew up in the rodeo business. Both your parents competitors. Your dad, I could remember at a young age hearing his name being one of the greatest steer wrestlers, not just in the IPR and PRCA, but ever. And so you got to experience rodeo from a championship level through your folks.
I did. I was very, very fortunate. I've told people here lately, I didn't grow up in a football family. I didn't grow up in a baseball family. I grew up in a rodeo family. My dad steer wrestling, my mom running barrels. And I was at my first rodeo when I was 2 weeks old. Really? So this is literally all I've ever known. So for me, like now as an announcer, I mean, even though I've never competed, I've not once ever entered a jackpot or rodeo. I've never nodded my head. I've never tasted the competition side, but I feel like I have because I've been around it every single day of my life. And even though I've never experienced those things, it allows me to talk about the intricacies of an event, just because, again, you grow up in a football family, you're studying plays every day. And
right.
When the quarterback snaps the ball and looks left, he's probably throwing right, or, whatever his little quirks are, same kind of thing. And it's just allowed me to know the players and the game and stuff. And it's, it's allowed me to meet all the incredible people that I've met and the opportunities that I've had. I mean, I started announcing when I was 6 or 7 doing slack because we were there anyway. And I wanted to be an announcer. And now, where I'm at in my career, I realize why those announcers always said, "You bet, Garrett, coming out to slack." I don't want to do it. No, I mean, it's been such a blessing to have them. And like you said, see rodeo from such a level where you were expected to be good at whatever you did. I mean, my parents were always so supportive of me in whatever I did. And they never once pressured me to do anything.
Well, that's what I got to ask you that, coming from, like I said, your dad, your mom being competitors, being world-class athletes, what was it that made you not want to compete? Or was there anything, because for me, it's hard for me to imagine, I say this now thinking about it, but my boys watching me compete at a young age and them not wanting to. So what was there something there that's like, no, I just want to talk?
Well, I tried a little bit of everything at home. We had a practice pen at the house, and I slid the steer saver and rode steers and roped. And I think I even tried shoot dogging one time, and nothing ever just, grabbed a hold of me. Nothing was ever that moment of, holy cow, that tastes so good. I got to get more of that,
Right.
But then when I started focusing on the announcer stand and a microphone and stuff, hi, I'm over here in case
my wife was waving at me goodbye.
Okay, I would wave at her too. No, it just never. I guess you could use the adage, it never tripped my trigger. And then when I was able to get on the microphone and feel a different kind of adrenaline, because, again, I'm not going to claim to be a 5-time world champion steer wrestler, but
better not.
So you back in the box, and that adrenaline, I mean, that was your rush. And same thing for me when that hot song's playing and it's 2 minutes to go time or whatever, and I have no freaking clue what's fixing to come out of my mouth, which that's got to make you feel good as somebody that's now hired me.
Right.
It's a different kind of adrenaline that I couldn't get,
Anywhere else.
Anywhere else. And that was when I felt like, okay, God didn't put me on this earth to be a steer wrestler or a team roper or a calf roper or a roughie. He put me on this earth to tell stories and talk about the sport and try to portray it in a light that makes it exciting and entertaining and educational. And I guess now fast forward since the first slack I did 23 years ago, here we are, and just it's been a blessing every day.
Across the green desert to where the mountains touch the sky. This is Sanderson Ford Country, where Arizona's pride.
Sanderson Ford Country,
Built on serving you.
Sanderson Ford, satisfaction in todo para usted.
We're Arizona's pride. Sanderson Ford.
Well, it's probably been a whirlwind too. I mean, like you said, 23 years of doing it now and getting to see and experience, not from inside the arena, but all levels up from jackpots to slacks to now the biggest rodeos in the world, and the most prestigious rodeos. You've got to see and transition through all of those. What have been some of the I guess, biggest highlights or things that you could pick out like, hey man, this is where I've seen transition in the last 26 years?
Man, it's so, because there's been so much, I've been on the era of changing technology. I mean, from, if you had a video board at your rodeo, I mean, you were it. I mean, you were the rarity. I mean, when Copenhagen Skull was sending those boards to a select few rodeos,
right?
I mean, that's a big deal. Now, if you don't have a video board, you're almost looked at as, the stepchild. So, it's just the evolution of technology, from the way we portray, scores and times to opening ceremonies, laser light shows and big pyrotechnics and, big sound systems and stuff. Our sport is so traditional in the sense that we are, rough and tough cowboys, but we're also an entertainment source. Yeah. I mean, case in point is the Kid Rock, Rock and Rodeo that's coming up. We're almost putting sport on the sideline a little bit and focusing on entertainment. And that's something that will grasp a lot of new fans, hopefully, potentially. So same thing with any other rodeo. You look at Cheyenne, for example, that is so traditional, big, 700-foot long arena, long score, hand-pulled barrier. And they've tried to modernize, and I know this is going to be a controversial topic for contestants, the format there.
Yeah.
When it used to be, 2 and a short or
yep.
3 and a short, whatever.
2 and a short.
Now they've gone to the tournament style. Contestants had a lot of pushback because you're running more cattle for, in the long run, the same amount of money.
It's less. I don't care what they say. It's less. Because you know as well as I do that no cowboy's going to win first every time they nod their head.
That's just it. It's the same money. They're just dicing it up more.
Exactly. There you go. So it's all about how you make the words.
That's right. But the premise is that format is a fan-friendly format.
100%.
Whether you are an avid rodeo fan or you just, holy cow, let's go to the Cheyenne Frontier Days. I've never been to a rodeo. When you go that day, you're going to see a champion. You're going to see somebody talk to Amy or Katie or Kyle or whoever's doing the interviews that day. You're going to see a champion. And if you want to come back on, semifinals or finals, you'll get to remember, hey, I was here the day that guy qualified. So right. That's the evolution of formats. Fort Worth, tournament style. You get to see a champion every night. Houston, San Antonio, all those rodeos are going to it. And I promise you they're not doing it to discredit the athlete. They're doing it to try to make the fan cling to those athletes more, because if they keep hearing that same name over and over, then it's going to get ingrained in their memory, and then potentially create new fans, better fans. All of the boxes get checked.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I think so I'm kind of in the I ride the fence, I guess you could say, because I want to see rodeo succeed as far as getting new fans, bigger fan base, more television coverage. But I also want to see the athletes getting rewarded for this over here. And I think where the disparity with the athletes is, and I'm going to use Denver, and Leon Vick may be mad at me, but I don't care.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Denver, I won Denver back in 2008. I won a round, second round, won the short round out. So I damn near 40% of them, right? Mm-hmm. I won almost $18,000 that one rodeo. Now you could almost win first all the way through and win 10 or 12,000, and these guys are making more trips.
Yeah.
Especially if you go through the qualifier rounds. San Antonio, I think the year I won that, I won 17. So it's kind of on par. It hasn't changed a whole lot. Now, Fort Worth, there's guys that absolutely love it and guys that absolutely hate it. So no matter what you're doing to help grow the sport, you need to make sure you bring the athletes with it, whether that's more added money, which I know that's tough too. Like I said, I try to look on both sides of the fence because I'm standing in the middle of it. Because obviously, and this as well as anybody, the only way to grow the sport is you have to have a bigger fan base.
That's right.
You have to have bigger sponsors come in. But to do that, you also have to have the contestants to bring with you.
Yeah. And that's the thing, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be a sponsorship expert. I know they're difficult to get, and especially new ones. But it's always, I've always been one of those guys that the answer is always no till you ask. And,
100%.
And I've sat back oftentimes and I've looked at big picture. Why do we not have like a deodorant or an antiperspirant, an Axe? Axe commercials, when they come on, they're all about manly man and tough and rough and, after a long day, make you smell good kind of thing. Hello, rodeo cowboys. I mean, stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that that's so simple that, Gillette, the razor company and stuff, you got to keep that beard trimmed up. Well, all the little things that I think we're potentially missing.
Well, and I think the answer to that is, unfortunately, rodeo does have its animal rights issues. Mm-hmm. And I think these companies would get a big bang for their buck if they did do it, but what are they losing on the
True.
And I'm not saying, to me, the animal rights issue is just like anything else. It's such a minimal percentage that has a huge platform, because if you say anything against it, the
squeaky wheel gets the grease.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I think that, to me, has a little bit to do with it. But now look at Bud Light. They got themselves in a shitstorm, and now all of a sudden they're back in the PBR, they're back in MMA, So I think that companies like that are realizing, hey, the true pride of this community is what supports us, and we need to notice that.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. I think after the Bud Light incident, I think they needed some damage control. And I hate to say that Cowboys could be their saving grace, but I mean, if they can try to put all that behind them and say, hey, look, we realize we messed up, and now we want to support those who have supported us for all these years before this incident. I'm not saying everybody's going to come back to them, but I mean, they'll, it's a way to tuck your tail, swallow your pride, and apologize.
Well, and to me, that holds way more than anything else. Say, listen, messed up. Sorry. And again, and nothing against where they were going. I mean, people have their own beliefs. Let them believe it, but don't
force it on the rest of us.
Force it. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know why we got off on a political tangent.
We have gone full circle here. Anyway, evolution of rodeo. That's how we got down this rabbit hole. But no, it is exciting to see, the changes that have been made. Like I said, the biggest thing for me, anybody that knows me well, I'm a rodeo nerd. I'm a production nerd. I love the technology. I love, the lights and sound and video and how it all works and comes together to make the experience better. And I think that's probably for me the biggest change I've seen, in a positive light is that, at Sioux Falls last year at the Cinch playoffs, the Governor's Cup. I mean, we had the moving lights, the big sound system. We had the projection mapping on the floor, showing video on the floor. And it cost a pretty penny to get all that. But for the fans that had never seen that before, it was it was really cool and fulfilling for the production team when all that fired up to hear the crowd. Ooh, in that moment. That to me that makes it all worth it.
Well, and I think that's something, and I'm just going to say it, that I hate even giving him credit, but Rory Limmel at Cinch and Jessica, they do an amazing job of fan interaction and getting the crowd into it. And I think, again, you're right, that's huge. And it doesn't matter whether you're at a $500 added rodeo or a $1 million added rodeo, you get a reaction when you have the new technologies and all that stuff there.
Yeah, and you're exactly right on Rory. He's a sports and entertainment fan at the core. He challenges all of us, Jessica and Garrison that works with us on some of the events, and myself. He's all the time. If you get a chance to go to another sporting event, go, whether it be MLB or AAA baseball or NFL or NHL or NBA, whatever. Get the chance to go, because you always can learn something from how they do something, whether it be, ooh, don't do that, or hey, we need to try that. Can we adopt that? From the rodeos that have happened at Globe Life Field, with the NFR and the American and stuff. I've gotten some pretty good relationships with some of their production staff there, their music director and one of their video operator guys. And it's been cool to kind of learn the inner workings of baseball, because they've got so many different things that we have. And then when we come for the rodeo, they all want to come down and hang out with us and learn how we do, because I remember the NFR when it was there, and Benji was doing the music, and they hadn't even had baseball in there yet. With one of the first events, and the way we did sing-alongs in rodeo. Traditionally, they had always, when they do a sing-along, they just leave the music up and the crowd just sings over top the music. And they learned a little trick from Benji to, hey, when you want the crowd to sing, pull your music down, let them carry it, and then you
right.
Up like we have in rodeo forever. And now they do that at their baseball games. So, little things that we may have been doing forever that they thought was cool, and vice versa, things that they maybe have been doing forever that we think is cool. So it's neat to get those relationships outside the rodeo industry to learn and try to better the fan experience.
This segment of the show is Cheers to That with our friends at Yeti, and Abide 85 had sent in a drink that we promised we would make for some of you fans. His drink is a tequila with Dr. Pepper. I'm going to use Diet Dr. Pepper for a couple reasons. I'm a diabetic, and it tastes just like regular Dr. Pepper. Use our Yeti stackable low boy. I like to throw a little ice in here. And then I'm going to pour some tequila in our Yeti shaker. This thing has been amazing. It's one of those durable things that I really enjoy. This is a Don Ramon tequila. It has chickens on it, so my wife really likes it. I think that's why she bought it for me. Not because of the tequila, but from the chickens. So a little bit of tequila in here. Again, to feel. Put our shaker lid on. Our cap. We'll twist on. Then we're going to give it a shake. Chill that tequila down into our Yeti stackable. And now for the Diet Dr. Pepper. Just a splash, just a little color to it. Cheers to that. Abide 82. Thank you for sending in your drink mix. Yeah, and this Kid Rock and Roll Rodeo will be something that, we haven't, we in our generation haven't seen. I know there's been, Winston Tour team rodeos, which I don't know if your dad, I'm sure he was somewhat familiar with.
The Tulsa Twisters.
Tulsa, that's it. I did. That's right. So to see team rodeo, but not only as a team, because let's be honest, you could have a team, right? You can go have a team. It's not a big deal. But the format is one arena, 2 chutes, red, yellow, green, gate opens, Both competitors go out at one time.
So this is a genuine question. I'm glad we're getting talking because I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen to this man. I am a very
you're fired.
Okay, good. But so what happens? Okay, you as a steer wrestler, what happens if the light goes green, gate opens, and your steer's got his head turned around?
Hey, that's the luck of the draw, man. You now. So we've had meetings after meetings, and like I was saying, let's get a pusher that pushes for everybody, and let's get somebody that's on the steer's head that is for everybody. And the coaches said, we want our own teams in control of whether that steer is looking straight and how hard we're pushing them. So this is all on the team. You know, if your guy on his head, green light, and that steer's fighting to shoot, there's going to be enough green lights in that building. It's probably going to look like red. It's just a big flash of red, a big flash of yellow, a big flash of green. So if the guy on the steer's head knows that steer's head's turned at yellow, he better start pulling it around. So when green light hits and the gate opens, they're out. So no, there is obviously going to be concern about, you know, in the steer wrestling, 2 horses running free, or So I mean, it's just again and the way I try to explain it to people is this is not a traditional rodeo. So don't think of rodeo and think this because it's not. Yeah. It's completely different. Throw all that out the window. Come watch it. Come enjoy it, and hopefully you have a good time.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at. Like, I mean, because for me, I announce rodeos, but I'm a fan of the sport above all. So that's why I mean, kind of joking, but not really. I'm a blank slate on this deal. Like, right. I mean, I'm willing to do whatever, try whatever, just to say we did. And if it doesn't go, hey, we tried.
Right.
But I mean, that's what I think is cool is just all the forget everything you've ever seen or ever known. Hey, this is rock and roll rodeo. So that I'm genuinely excited.
Yeah, and I think that's the feedback most. Now, some of the contestants that have declared in the draft, there's a lot of questions, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of answers because we've never done this before. Yeah. You know, so it's and kudos to all those that did, declare because they want to be part of something, that could be very monumental for the sport of rodeo. Hopefully, bring in new sponsors, not just to that, but to the whole industry. You got involvement of a megastar in Kid Rock and the influence he has now with the Western world, with his influence in the PBR and now into rodeo. Anytime, this as well as anybody, anytime you get a guy of his stature involved in Western sports, I mean, let's look at Yellowstone and Taylor Sheridan and Kevin Costner.
Yep.
How much has that grown the industry? You get Kid Rock and you get a few more.
Now Cole Hauser is the, what do they call him? I don't want to say
face.
Mascot, but the face, the face of the PBR,
Yeah, exactly. So it's cool to have, for me, and again, I'm jealous. I say this often. I'm really jealous of these guys that are in their prime now because maybe I wouldn't have been able to beat them either, but if I was in my prime now, where rodeo is going and to the next level, it's cool for me to experience and see from the outside, but man, I wish I was running them.
You couldn't get it together for one steer at the Rock and Rodeo. You could declare. I mean, all you got to do.
I'm the commissioner. I can't.
Oh, okay.
And who's going to pick a guy that ain't going to practice? Nobody.
Hey, there's always the underdog. One of the most decorated steer wrestlers in history, Pro Rodeo Hall of Famer. He's the underdog.
Yeah, you're right. That's actually what we should have done. We should get a team of old Hall of Famers and have them compete against the team that wins, just cold turkey, and that would be interesting.
Let's see. Let's go down here. That's Bobby Moat, Luke Branquinho.
No.
Speed and Rich.
Yeah.
Cody Wright.
Yes.
Fred Whitfield. Oh, he's a coach. Fred Whitfield. J.W. Harris.
No bull riders. It's no bull riding at this rodeo. Yeah.
They're all resting up for the World
PBR finals. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So take out Jada.
But you said bareback rider Bobby Moan. He wouldn't get on another one, although he's in pretty good shape.
I don't know. Okay. Are you allowed to disclose what it pays to win?
Not as it is. Actually, yeah, no, because by the time, $28,000 for the championship team.
Okay, so
not the team. I'm sorry, not the team. Each individual on each team.
Oh,
$500,000 will go to the winning team $500,000.
So there is event champions and a team champion.
No event champions. Everybody that doesn't win the whole team championship, they get $4,000 for showing up and running one, riding one, possibly two. So
even if you, like, say your bareback rider bucks off, he gets a no score. If his team still wins, he still gets the $28,000.
Yep.
Oh, outstanding!
Yeah, right. There, like I said, there's a lot to it, but it's all going to come together, and I think it's going to be pretty darn cool.
Cool. So, like, obviously, between scored events and timed events, is it point system? I guess, like, first in the event gets 10 points or whatever. Or?
No, so it's gold medals. Like so there's going to be 3 rounds of competition. It's going to be head-to-head, event. So it's not like Team A is going to compete against Team B in all the events. It's going to be drawn up on, so whoever wins a gold there moves on, and then silvers, bronzes, and then when you get to the last round, the championship round, we call it, where the 2 teams go head-to-head, the team with the most amount of golds and then the team with the second amount of golds will go for the team championship.
So
I'll get you the rules and bylaws.
Yes, I'm glad we're having this conversation for the world to see here eventually, because this is, I'm genuinely just,
yeah. Yeah, and if there's something you don't understand, don't call me.
Okay, I'll call the other Luke.
Yeah, that's exactly. No, there's a lot going into, like, we're getting ready to have the private draft, which is just going to be the coaches and the commissioner and present.
Do you need a host for that? Like, I know a guy.
Oh, no, we got Flint Rasmussen. We don't.
Clint Jasperson. Yeah.
Yeah, Clint Jasperson, that guy. Matt West, and I think Narducci might be there too. Like I said, that we could talk about this now because this is going to air after all that. But
okay.
then we're gonna have the draft reveal, which will be what is this month? March 12th at Kid Rocks and Honky Tonk in Bar and Grill in Nashville. So we're going to do that March 12th, and that's when everybody's going to get revealed on what teams they got drafted to, and the teams will be set March 12th.
Perfect.
So you give you some time to do homework.
Yeah, March 12th to May 17th.
You got a month,
I can probably make that.
You got all of April. Yeah, you got almost 2 months.
I could probably pencil that in.
Just a little chicken scratch.
Why am I doing notes if you don't want traditional rodeo announcing?
That's right. Just call it like, this guy really let his team down. What a loser. They're going to throw eggs at him in the locker room. It'll be fun. No, it will be. I think it'll be good. So I don't want to talk about it anymore. We might disclose way too much. Actually,
well, don't worry. This will air after it happens. So.
Oh yeah, that's true. You're probably screen recording right now, and then I'll hold this. Hostage.
No, I'm not. If I'd have known we were going to get this juicy in the gossip, I would have.
Well, then we'll just talk about that FFA plaque hanging up behind your head.
That's right.
You're one. Is that the only accomplishment you got?
No, I got my honorary state FFA degree over here, my American FFA degree over there. That one is my chapter honorary degree. I think the rest of them are out there in the living room.
Gosh, man, you need to get your office. Is that your office or is that the spare bedroom?
Both.
Well, it looks like you're just moving into it.
Well, so I've lived in this house for going on a year and 3 months. And as you know, the rodeo season does not allow much time for unpacking during the summer.
Definitely, or winter or fall or spring, but yeah.
Those two, yeah. So this room has kind of been the catch-all.
Mm-hmm. And you just got back from a barrel race because your significant other was entered up, right?
Yeah. So when I finished the Dixie National in Jackson, I had a weekend off this past weekend. And so she was going to a St. Jude benefit barrel race in Memphis. And I said, well, I don't have anything else to do. So I went up there and hung out and was a supportive fiance and drove the tractor some just to fill my time of sitting there watching 3 barrels, 2 hearts, 1 dream go round and round and round. And then I came home when it was over.
Oh, how far was it from Jackson to the barrel race?
I don't know, 4 hours.
Oh, that ain't. I thought you made it sound like, oh, I gotta leave Jackson, go to this barrel race. Oh my God, it's so far.
No. I mean, in rodeo travel, it was like 20 minutes.
I was just gonna say that's just a hop, skip, and a jump. What about from there to home?
8 hours from Memphis back here.
Yeah, and that's just like a half day's work.
Yeah, right, exactly. So it was nothing.
People don't understand the schedules. Like I'm doing the Moonicast in Fort Worth on Friday, and then I fly out of Fort Worth 5 a.m. Saturday to Chicago to do a bulldogging clinic all day long, Saturday, Sunday. And they're like, man, aren't you going to be whooped down flying, sleeping on airplanes? I'm like, shit, you guys don't even understand what it's like to rodeo. That's a vacation for a rodeo cowboy.
Yeah, because when you're driving, you actually have to drive the vehicle. When you're flying, you ain't got to fly the plane.
I hope not. Although I had thought about taking some flying lessons, but being a type 1 diabetic, it's not in the cards for me. Yeah, so.
Yeah. I think being a pilot's really cool. I just don't know when I would find the time to go do that.
Well, exactly. And flying seems easy, just landing and taking off, which are fairly important.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not an expert by any means, but from the outside looking in, I would think taking off was easier than landing.
Agreed. Because just full throttle, full flaps, get that lift, pull back. But then what if you keep lifting? I guess you got to flaps down, make sure your air speed.
Eventually you got to.
Right. Hell, I think we just flew a plane.
Is it
that hard?
Yeah.
Interesting. Huh.
So,
well, scratch that off the list. We don't even need to go take classes anymore.
Check. Done.
I'll have Donnie Gay just tell us how to do it.
That's right. 8X.
Yeah. What are some of the funnest guys you've got to work with in your career of announcing?
Are you referring to co-announcers or clowns or
all the above? Let's talk about co-announcers first. Let's do co-announcers first.
Okay. Let's see.
And you won't offend anybody. None of them will watch this show anyway.
Yeah, because you know what happens when you get offended, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely
nothing.
Across the green desert
to where the mountains touch the sky.
This is Sanderson Ford Country, where Arizona's pride. Sanderson Ford Country,
Built on serving you.
Sanderson Ford, satisfaction in Colorado State, where Arizona's pride. Sanderson Ford.
I would probably say some of my I've really got to work with a pretty good group. The guys that I have co-announced with over the years, when I was doing the IFR, Brandon McClagan, Monty Stevie, a guy named Mark Northall from East Tennessee, phenomenal human being, great announcer. Matt McGee, I did one with him. And then the PRCA, I got to do Hermiston one year with Randy Corley. Had a lot of fun with Corleone. I've done a handful of deals with Anthony. Steve Kenyon, I've been with him at Hermiston the past couple, or just this last year, I guess. Had a lot of fun with Boyd at Sioux Falls. And anybody that knows him knows that he demands your best.
Yeah.
So I've always been a guy that I want to stand. If I'm going to co-announce, I don't know if you can say this on your podcast or not. I want the baddest sumbitch that I can get right there beside me, because it makes me better. Like all ships rise at high tide. So, I mean, when you were going for the world championship,
wait. Iron sharpens iron.
There you go. I mean, when you were going for the world championship in the 10th round, you wanted to follow, the best guy in the world because it got your blood pumping and made you better. Same kind of thing for us. Like Sioux Falls, when we're down to that $25,000 round in the shootout. And Boyd's, he's got the motor running, and he's early 2000s. I mean, you think back to the NFR, Bob and Boyd in the early 2000s. That was energy. I mean, that was rodeo. And when he would get on those runs, man, it'd make my blood go to pumping. It would make me want to chomp at the bit and start swinging. So Really enjoyed learning from him, working with him. But then I did get to accomplish a pretty major life dream in Fort Worth this year, getting to announce with Bob. I mean, not just announcing with Bob, but announcing the Fort Worth Stock Show and Rodeo with Bob that he has now been at for 48 years.
Right.
So, I mean, again, so much fun with him. I mean, learned a lot. I mean, just from style and presentation and stuff. You know, that guy, he's hilarious. I mean, if you ever get to spend 5 minutes with Bob Tallman, you know, press pause and do it.
Exactly.
Because he's got so many stories and all kinds of wild rodeo tales and stuff. But probably one of the coolest experiences that I ever got that I didn't even realize at the time. So going back to my start here, we were at Dodge City one year, and I was doing the slack there when we were there, obviously with Dad, and Clem McSpadden was announcing. It was back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't remember if Boyd had started coming to the rough stock yet, or Clem was still doing it by himself. Anyway, Clem, at least he was there doing the timed events during the rodeo. And he found my dad. So, I mean, you know, he was from Northeast Oklahoma. We were too. And so he found my dad and he said, "Hey, do you think Garrett would want to come announce the slack with me at Veneta?" You know, Dodge City's 1st of August. Veneta was the end of August. And he goes, "Oh, I'm sure he would, Clem. You know, I'll talk it over with Kathy and, you know, we'll let you know." Okay, great. So the story that they've told me was Dad went home and said something to Mom about, you know, "Hey, Clem asked if Garrett wanted to announce the slack with him at Veneta." And I mean, he said, Mom looks like, "I don't know. I mean, that's a Tuesday. That's a school night. I don't know." And Dad replied back and said, "Hey, right now, Garrett just thinks this is some old guy being nice to him. But there will come a day when he realizes who Clem McSpadden is, and this will mean a lot to him. So maybe it's okay if he's a little tired on Wednesday morning." And she's like, "Okay." So anyway, did it. So got to announce the slack. I mean, of course, it was just the slack, but got to announce the slack in Veneta, Oklahoma with Clem. And I don't know how well this is going to come through.
But, you could send it to us and we will post that. That would be great.
I'll text it to you. But so that was from that night. And then he passed away the next summer. So it was, I mean, like I said, at the time, I did just think it was some old guy being nice. I mean, just, you know,
Right.
Rodeo announcer being nice. And then I think when I got old enough and started learning about him in school, I mean, like, you know, from being the senator and the politician and, you know, all the things and kind of like, and then got old enough to realize his influence in rodeo with NFR general manager and announcer of all these big major rodeos and such an icon. And then, you know, relative to Will Rogers, I mean, gosh, all the stars started to align. And I found that picture. It's sitting at my mom and dad's house in the trophy case. I found that picture. I was like, "Holy cow, that's the guy." And I remember going to his funeral, and gosh, I mean, all of these politicians were there, and Reba came.
I was just going to say, because he got Reba her start singing the national anthem at the national finals in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, so that's when it really started to hit. And so, you know, every time or anytime a conversation comes up about, you know, guys that I've got to work with, I love sharing that story because it's cool because, like I said, at the time didn't realize the implications of it, but now
Right.
it carries a lot of weight.
Yeah. What about rodeo clowns?
Clowns. I've been fortunate to work with some of, if not the best, from John Harrison, Cody Sosby, Justin Rumford, Dusty Myers, Brinson Harris, Matt Merritt, JJ.
Well, real quick, Sosby, a lot of people don't realize that, but he actually competed in rodeo as well. Wasn't he a bareback rider?
Yeah. Oh, I got more pictures to show you there. So I'm gonna try to do this justice. This was 1997. That's him in the red and me sitting on his knee. 2017, when he clowned the NFR, we recreated the picture.
Send those two to me.
Yeah, so we got him in a split screen there.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so I'll share that with you too. So I mean, Sosby literally has known me since before I was born, because he was bareback riding in the IPRA. Him and Robbie Hodges both were bareback riders in the IPRA and traveled with my mom and dad. Sosby did. Sosby lived on our couch for a while, and so he was in the truck going to the rodeo with everybody when Mom announced to the gang that she was pregnant, and so he's known me since before I was born. So our relationship in rodeo is really, really special. Right. From growing up, watching him be a world champion bareback rider the year I was born in the IPRA, to a little bit separating just when he went off clowning and spent time in the PRCA, and I never want to say we grew apart, but our paths separated. Right. And then 2021, when I got to do Cheyenne for the first time and he was the clown, I mean, he was one of the reasons that I felt comfortable there, because, it was like I had that piece of home with me out there, on the camera pit or in the barrel or whatever. And so, him and I, we've gotten to work a bunch together, and gosh dang, I love that guy like a big brother. Goofy big brother, but I love him to the end of the world, Mac. That guy, if he can't make you smile, you need to check yourself, because he's such a good-hearted human being. He makes you laugh. I mean, he just walks in the room and everybody smiles and brightens up. So I've been so fortunate to be around that guy my whole life, and now work with him a lot. Gosh, I mean, I'll say this, the one clown that I guess it's safe to say will never get the chance to work with is Flint. I've always been such a fan of his and wanted to do something, and just the time that I spent in the PBR, our paths never crossed. He was obviously exclusive to the Built Ford Tough series at the time, and I was just doing some velocity and touring pros and international events. But that would, if there was one that I had to put on a list of guys that I wish I got to work with, it'd be Flint.
Across the green desert to where the mountains touch the sky. This is Sanderson Ford Country, where Arizona's pride.
Sanderson Ford Country,
Built on serving you. Sanderson Ford.
satisfaction in all about usted.
We're Arizona's pride. Sanderson Ford.
Yeah, he was obviously. I don't even know what you would call him, because there'll never be another one, and he is.
He's a pioneer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I could remember it. I don't even know if you were born yet. Probably. What year were you born?
94.
Oh, you're so. Anyway, he was doing
world title that year or something like that.
Yeah, no. If you talk JB, I was still competing at Oklahoma City at the NFR, but. Anyways, but Flint, I can remember watching him the first time doing his Steve Irwin act with the flank strap and Alan Hamilton. Yeah, exactly. It was pretty cool. This is going to be a rodeo politics question.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So I don't want to cost you any jobs, but if you answer it truthfully, it might have implications on your career. So. It depends on whether you want to be truthful or not. Well, and I don't have it doesn't affect me as much anymore, a little bit, because I still work for everybody. But you have PBR, you have WCRA, you have the PRCA, you have the American, Teton Ridge. That's 4 separate rodeo entities.
Right.
If we could all throw egos out the window and bring it all together, where do you think this sport would be, or do you think that's even possible?
It's crazy to even put a definition on it, because I think it would be something so big and so good that I don't even know what to compare it to. Like, I mean, I don't even know that saying, oh, we would be the NFL or we'd be MLB. No. I don't even know if that's the right narrative. because you're right. Ego is the word. Because if you go to, I'm not going to keep picking Cheyenne. If you go to Reno, I'll take Reno. I've never been to Reno. You have. If you go to Reno and you go pick a random family out of the stands and you say, can you tell me what the sanction was on this rodeo? First off, they may look at you and go, the what?
I guarantee you.
Second off, I'm going to say it, they're not going to know PRCA. People come to a rodeo to be entertained. Like it's a source of entertainment. It's a source of forgetting all your cares in the world. We are such a rarity because we're a sport that is an entertainment source. It's like the WWE, except we don't make it up. Like,
very great. Yeah.
MLB and NFL and all that stuff, they cater so much to the sport. Sometimes, I mean, obviously the Super Bowl is entertaining and the World Series is entertaining because of the drama. But when you go to an MLB game, you see everybody in Rangers jerseys and T-shirts and ball caps and things because they are followers of the sport. They have their players, they're followers of the sport. Rodeo, go back to Reno, for example, while you may see a cowboy hat here or there that's likely on backwards, the clothes that you can tell they just went and bought at Boot Barn or Cavender's or whatever, because they just want to taste the culture,
right?
They go for the entertainment. So, I mean, if we could put all the egos aside and realize, I want to steal this line from Scott Grover because he's the guy that I always heard say it the best. Good rodeo is good for rodeo. I mean, put all the alphabet soup aside of all the different sanctions and regional associations and what have you. But if we could just go out and put on rodeo to entertain fans, as long as it's good, who cares?
Right.
I mean, again, I get the chasing gold buckles and, wanting to be a part of something bigger. I get that. But at the root of growing the sport, if we could have one big kick-ass rodeo, Kid Rock could be the deal. If we could have one big kick-ass rodeo that just brought the best of everybody, the best stock, the best contestants, the best production, and just blew everybody's socks off, that creates the buzz of, holy cow, I went to this rodeo one time. I heard about it on social media. I flew to Arlington, Texas to see it. That was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I got to get some more of this rodeo thing.
Right.
I mean, that's the greatest thing that could happen. But
yeah, like you said, and in a sense, you have that at the NFR, but that is such a hard ticket and a hard sell. And granted, now it is in Las Vegas. If you could have 6 of those a year spread out, or 8 of those a year, or whatever, you and I are on the same page. I'm gonna interrupt you, and then you can go back to it. But they had the San Diego rodeo. At Padres State, where the Padres play there in San Diego. They said that the crowd, it was probably one of the greatest shows, and that's coming from contestants.
Right.
It was a great event, great show. I don't know, you didn't announce that one, did you?
No, Brett Gardner and Chris Rankin did.
But that's right. Chris told me he announced that, but he said it was absolutely unbelievable. And those weren't your true tried rodeo fans.
Nope. No, and you're right. I heard nothing but glowing reports on that, from contract personnel to the couple contestants that I saw at Fort Worth and asked them about it. They said, and I guess I can say this now, they said they were skeptical. I mean, just first year event starting out on a magnitude like that, they were like, man, what are we getting into? Yeah, I'll go. I got the weekend off, but what am I really getting myself into? And they said they were just floored by the hospitality, the production, the competition, the fans. I think Narducci told me they sold out their Saturday night 22,000, and then they opened up 3,000 more, kind of on the edges, a little bit of obstructed view, but not bad. Sold 3,000 more and sold them out. So they had 25,000 there, first year deal on a Saturday night event. So, hey, kudos to I think it was what was it, Outsiders West and C5 Rodeo and the Padres at Petco Park. I mean, huge kudos to all of them. And I mean, hey, if they've got the old bankroll and they could go in the off season of baseball and find some stadiums, like you said, find half a dozen or 5 or whatever, and go put on just standalone, big time, well produced, well contested rodeos. Man, that would be cool.
Well, they are. They're doing another one in Glendale. I'm sorry, in Phoenix, at where the Diamondbacks play. I seen same group. Yeah. Well, I'm assuming it's the same group. I seen Cord McCoy posted about it on social media, but
I saw that too.
But they did say
Cord wasn't involved in the one in San Diego, so I thought maybe it was a different group. But if it is the same group, hey, awesome.
Yeah, right. And again, to that point, they said that there was other MLB owners that were at that, San Diego rodeo, and they said, "Wow, this is the greatest thing ever. Why we should be doing this off season all the time." So to see again, we talk about getting Kid Rock involvement, Cole Hauser, Kevin Costner, and you bring these MLB owners into the mix. It's just get rid of the egos. Let's blow up the Western sports to the max. And we will never be. And you mentioned it. NFL, MLB will never be that, for the simple fact of animal welfare issues that people disagree with our livelihood and how what they don't understand is that stock gets better took care of than I take care of my kids. But anyhow, yeah, unfortunately, that's just their mind thought. But I think it's huge. I think it's great. I think the sport is on the uprise, and we just need to keep it heading in that direction.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I guess all personal opinions aside, you gotta credit the Cowboy Channel a little bit. The exposure,
100%.
The exposure that they gave the sport. The timing is always funny. Here comes the Cowboy Channel 2019. Cheyenne was their first rodeo. They're just kind of getting their feet wet, getting rolling, taking baby steps, and then COVID and just, wipes out rodeo. So here they are in a complete scramble. Thank goodness they had Jeff Metters, who had the entire bank of NFRs for the past 35 years.
Wait. I'm going with this. So you're saying Jeff Metters invented COVID so he could
Anyway, so to carry rodeo through that and kind of push through and persevere, and now for all the issues that we have, to put rodeo out there to the world every single day. I mean, live coverage of what did they do? 900 rodeo performances or something last year from coast to coast, border to border. Plus Canada and Australia and Mexico and all the other entities they've covered now. Kudos to them. I mean, now, not to get on another personal opinion soapbox, do I think the Cowboy Channel is the place to show the NFR? No, that's just my opinion. The Super Bowl is not on the NFL Network. The World Series. It was on Nickelodeon. Hey, I turned it on for like 10 minutes just to see what it was, and it was almost mesmerizing of how just silly and goofy it was.
You have Nickelodeon?
Well, yeah, I bet you do too.
No, we don't have Dish. We don't have anything.
Shame on you.
I know my kids are so deprived.
It's channel 170 on Dish. I know that because every night they have Friends on for like 4 hours. And I use that to go to sleep.
Oh, my gosh. Well, Garrett Yerigan, PRCA Announcer of the Year, I appreciate you coming on the Luke Branquinho Show. I'm looking forward to obviously getting to watch you grow up into what you are now and how successful you become. I'm excited to work with you on the Kid Rock and Roll Rodeo. And, man, just congratulations on a successful career at such a young age. And, man, it's been fun having you on.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and hopefully we can talk again soon.
Surely we will.
We got a lot to talk about.
A lot to talk about. All right, man. Have a good one. Thanks, Garrett.
Yeah, you too. Thanks.
Hey, you want to see more in-depth details on the Luke Branquinho Show? Make sure you like and subscribe.